Hi everyone, this is Roxanne from Pradeo. For Cybersecurity Awareness Month, we launched a series of video interviews in which cybersecurity experts are invited to share their insights on mobile security. In this first episode, I had the chance to discuss with Nick Dawson, Global Head of B2B Solution Sales for Samsung.
It was about a little over 7 years ago now that, as people were shifting to a mobile-centric and in many cases a mobile-first world, we realized that we really needed to do something to meet both the security and the management needs of our customers in an enterprise environment. And that's when at Samsung we began our journey with the Knox portfolio of solutions, which is on the one hand a security platform embedded on all of our devices that goes above and beyond Android enterprise security features. And then on the other hand is a portfolio of solutions that allow for the configuration, the management, the lifecycle needs and concerns of mobile devices within the enterprise. So we started that about a little over 7 years ago now. The first versions of those solutions came out, and of course they've evolved a lot since then. We did so because of the needs of our customers. It was our customers who were demanding this, or prospective customers who wanted that from us, and it has served them, and of course us, and our partner community as well, very well over the many years. There really was actually, when we look out there around the market, of course, when we started our journey with security and management features for enterprise, like I said, about 7 years ago, the requirement was really around what's now called UEM, Unified Endpoint Management. At the time, it was MDM or EMM. The ability to control features on a device, to turn things on and off, typically for a heightened security posture. I'll give you an example. When I go to work every day at Samsung Digital City, just outside of Seoul in South Korea, I walk through the gates and IT policy is pushed to my device, which will turn off the camera so that I can't take pictures in a secure R&D facility, lock me onto the Wi-Fi network, but prevent me from using my device as a hotspot or an untrusted other device or appliance, and block my USB port, for example, so that I can only use it for power, but not upload or download any documents, data, information, things like that. Those are just controlling features. However, the world has evolved, and as mobile devices and increasingly enterprise IoT devices are proliferating at great speed, the attack vectors and the threats out there in the world are becoming more and more complex, more and more commonplace. And we realized that we needed to do more than just, provide feature management. We needed to provide proactive, always-on threat defense. And so to partner with a company like Pradeo that specializes in mobile threat defense, blocking attacks, being aware, using artificial intelligence algorithms to do that was very interesting to us. And so what we've done is we have a number of things within the embedded platform on our devices, the Knox platform for enterprise, that working in conjunction with Pradeo, we can, alongside you, provide better threat detection on Samsung devices, and then allow Pradeo to invoke threat remediation activities as well. So that as, a data packet, for example, an attack comes down to the device, we are perhaps able to feed some completely contextual, it's not personal data, but stat data up to your engines, help you detect things a little bit better, hopefully, on our devices. And then if, this is an attack, it is a threat that's underway, for example, you can invoke an action such as block this service, isolate it, turn something off, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Rather than doing that ourselves, we're not experts in this field. You are at Pradeo. So we absolutely, wanted to work with you to make these things, your solution and our platform, mesh together to better serve the needs of our mutual customers. Well, I think the stage of maturity varies depending on customers. I think most people are a lot further than ahead than they were, even just a few short years ago. We have seen with the advent of mobility in general, starting, 15 plus years ago with the first truly mobile computing devices out there, that it changed the game when it came to IT security in general. All of a sudden, devices went outside of the firewall onto unknown, untrusted. We have a mix on our smartphones, our tablets, even our laptops, of enterprise applications, but personal applications and data, and how do we manage these two worlds that we live in at the same time? So mobility in general and has changed the IT security landscape. This year, 2020, for reasons that I think we're all aware of due to COVID-19, and the need for much more remote work than was commonplace up until now, we've seen the problem exacerbated. It's really, really increased. There are an awful lot more people working remotely, which to me is just another definition of mobile, who are being exposed to attacks, sometimes for the first time. They didn't realize the type of attacks that were out there. So we've really seen a renewed interest in IT security in general. We've seen a renewed awareness of the types of threats and attacks that are out there, the most common being phishing attacks, but there are many, many others. And we've seen this evolve over time. Like I said, an increase in the number of mobile devices increases the attack surfaces, the different types of devices. And that's one thing that we're really seeing start accelerate again now with the deployment in many parts of the world already done or at least beginning into 5G network technology. 5G brings speed, it brings capacity, but it also brings near zero latency, so no delays on the network, which really enables this promise of enterprise IoT. Multiple devices out there in the world connected over the network and talking to each other, trading data and transacting in real time. 5G was the missing ingredient for that. We're seeing an acceleration of types of endpoints and proliferation of endpoints. And these are going to be more and more difficult to protect as time goes by. And it's not always obvious that you need to protect the sensor, that's on top of a light pole, whereas it's very obvious to most people that we need to protect the computing device in front of us that we deal with day in and day out. So we're seeing a bit of a mix out there. We're seeing a change, an evolution, but awareness is up, which is good news. I think when I mentioned 5G, and this is where I mean it's 5G is an enabler, as I pointed out, and 5G finally unlocks the potential of IoT at scale. We're already seeing it, a massive proliferation of literally billions of new endpoints being created to serve multiple different purposes. These endpoints don't always have a screen. It could be a sensor in your car, in the basement of a building, sensors that make up smart city grids, things like that. And what happens is these sensors are trading information amongst themselves. Let's take an example, perhaps one of the more sexy examples, smart city grids, autonomous vehicles, maybe not fully self-driving vehicles yet, but, vehicles that are at least designed to speak to each other and speak to a grid around them. The danger that we have here is that vehicle is a connected endpoint on the network. All of its sensors are the sensors that run the traffic lights, the emergency services. These are things that are going to come under attack because if I can inject one false bit of data into a smart city grid, I can cause chaos. If I can inject one false bit of data into an electricity network, I can cause a cascading failure at the electrical plant, which in many countries is a nuclear plant. The dangers are very, very real. And as I said before, I think it is intuitive for most people that we have to protect something with a screen that we interact with day in and day out, then it is intuitive that we need to protect all of these other endpoints as well. And that's the future. As we build these new endpoints, this massively connected world, and that we're building it now collectively, all of us. As we build that out, we really, really, really need to pay attention to the integrity of those endpoints themselves. And it's not something that can be done after the fact. You can't buy an appliance and then layer on security on top of it and expect it to work absolutely perfectly every time. It has to be fundamentally part of that appliance, part of that device. And at Samsung, that's what we do with our Knox platform, embedding that into the products and the devices that we build, and then working with partners such as Pradeo to ensure that the platform meshes seamlessly with the service that you offer on top of that. That's the future.